Hello, welcome friends, and in this lectures we are discuss the ultraviolet rays and gamma rays. You also called as gamma rays. In the previous lectures we are just discussed the electromagnetic waves, types of the electromagnetic waves, some properties and uses of that particular waves. In these lectures we also do the same process. They discuss the types of the electromagnetic waves, the one of the types in between them, that is ultraviolet rays. Ultraviolet rays. In the ultraviolet rays, the main parts, how will be discovered it, who was discovered the ultraviolet rays, what is the source of the ultraviolet rays, and what is the actual here, they will understood this will be ultraviolet rays. The main scientist will be discovered the ultraviolet rays is J. Reuters. You also call it J. Reuters. In the years, that is 1801, this is discovered in the years 1801. How will be produced and what is the main source of the produce the ultraviolet rays? It is produced by the mercury vapor lamps, electrical sparks and carbon arc lamps. It produced by that is mainly it produced by vapor, mercury vapor lamps. It produced by mercury vapor lamp, that is electrical spark, some electrical spark and electrical spark, they are produced by the mercury vapor lamps, electrical spark and carbon arc lamps. Carbon arc lamp. These are the main sources which will produce the ultraviolet rays. And they also produce the another ways or another sources of the producing of ultraviolet rays will be, they are striking of electrical discharge on the hydrogen and xenon gases. Striking of electrical discharge on hydrogen and xenon gas. But the most useful and main natural source of the ultraviolet rays will be sun. Sun is the natural source of these ultraviolet rays. Then sun is natural source of ultraviolet rays. But you may know that the earth will be produced, one of the earth we are consider here, this is the earth, and in the atmospheres of earth many air gases will be produced, many gases will present on the atmospheres of the earth surface. Then mostly gases they are produced, that is ozone, O3 gases will be present in the atmospheres of the earth surface, and these ozone gases is mostly effectable for the absorptions of ultraviolet rays. Then ozone is absorbed most UV rays in earth atmospheres. Then mainly 60%, I think 60% will be absorbed in the atmospheres by ozones. Then now we start to discussion. This is the all about how it will produce who was the scientist which can be discovered the ultraviolet rays, and which is the actual years they are discovered. And now we are just start to the discussions of the properties of ultraviolet rays. They produce fluorescence in the certain materials such as phosphorus. Let's begin to the discussions of the properties. Property of ultraviolet rays. They produce fluorescence in the certain materials. First, they produce fluorescence in certain material, and these materials mainly phosphorus. First, they are produced in the fluorescence. They are produced fluorescence in the certain materials, and the main materials will be such as phosphorus. Then they cause, the main reasons of the photoelectric effect is ultraviolet rays, and the ultraviolet rays caused by the photoelectric effect, they cause photoelectric effect. They caused photoelectric effect. These are the properties of the ultraviolet rays. They can't passing through the glasses, but they passes through the cords, fluorides and rocks. They can't passing through the glass, but they passes through the cords, fluoride and rocks. They can't passes through glasses. They can't passes through the glass, but pass to cords, fluorides and rocks, etc, etc. They can't passes through the glass, but they can be passed cords, fluorides and rocks. They possess synthesized vitamin D. They possess synthesizing vitamin D. This is the most useful and wonderful properties of and useful properties of the ultraviolet rays. They possess synthesized vitamin D. Now we are discuss the uses of ultraviolet rays. Uses of the UV rays or ultraviolet rays. They use to destroy the germs and bacteria, and they also use in the producing of the surgical instrument and the purification of waters. Okay, let's begin to the discussions of the uses of ultraviolet rays. They use to destroy of germs and bacteria. Use germs and bacteria. Then second one, they also used to make surgical instrument. To make the surgical instrument and water purifications. Water purifications. They also used to make the surgical instrument and water purifications. They also used in the burglar alarms and security systems. They also used in the burglar alarms and security systems. But the most important uses of the ultraviolet rays will be to distinguish the real and fake germs. It can be kill the fake germs and identify the real germs. They use to distinguish between the real and fake germs. But this is the most useful and this is most important things, that is they use to analysis of the chemical components. They use analysis of chemical components. Chemical components. Analysis of chemical components. And this is the uses, properties, and what are the ultraviolet rays. It is mainly asked for the in exam for a 4 to 5 marks. Explain the ultraviolet rays and use the property and uses of the ultraviolet rays. Then we are right like this. Ultraviolet rays will be produced in the 1801. They produced by the one of the scientists, J. Retters, and it is produced by the mercury vapor lamps and electrical spark carbon arc lamps. This is the second point. We are right in exams. Then striking of electrical discharge on the hydrogen and xenon gases. This is the second procedure to produce the ultraviolet rays. But the main sources, sun is the main sources and natural sources of the ultraviolet rays. The mostly maybe 60 to 70% ultraviolet rays is absorbed in the earth atmosphere by the gas, that is the ozone gas. We are one of the most useful that we are use of these points will be writing in the exams. Ultraviolet rays in the earth atmospheres. Like properties, the first property, they are produced the fluorescence in the certain materials, the mainly such that the phosphorus, and they cause the photoelectric effect. The main reason for the happen of photoelectric effect is the ultraviolet rays. They can't passes through the glasses but pass to the quartz, fluorides and rocks. The ultraviolet rays could not be passes through the glass but they pass quartz, fluorides and rocks. They are mainly, they possesses the synthesized vitamin D. And we are right the some uses of the ultraviolet rays, that is they use to destroy the germs and bacteria, to make the surgical instrument and water purifications. They use in the burglar alarms and security systems, and they also use it to distinguish or identify the real germs and kill the fake germs. And the most uses and mostly effective uses, that is analysis of the chemical components. Now let's start to discussions of the gamma rays. Gamma rays. Let's begin to the discussions of the gamma rays. That is the P Villards in 1900. They are discovered by the gamma rays. Gamma rays, it is the mostly harmful because they will be destroy, they will be kill the cells, living cells. Okay, we are talking about that in this point, that is gamma rays are also called as gamma rays. Without discussion, before the discussions of the what is the gamma rays are produced, they are emitted by the nucleus of the radioactive material. They continuously emitted, because the radioactive materials will be continuously emitted the harmful gases. But some uses are here. Let's discuss what is the gamma rays or gamma rays. P Villards in the 1900 they are discovered. Scientist name is P Villards in 1900, and they mainly emit by the nuclei nuclei of the radioactive atoms or materials. Radioactive materials. The radioactive materials is examples of uranium and radiums is the two examples of the radioactive materials. The gamma rays is produced or identified or discovered in the year 1900, and the scientist who has discovered the gamma rays is a P Villards. They mostly source of the producing of gamma rays is they are emits by the nuclei of the radioactive materials. The mainly radioactive materials is uranium and radiums. Okay, let's start to discussions of the properties of gamma rays. Property of gamma rays. The first property, they have high energy. The energy range will be kilo electron volt to these z electron, gamma electron volts, giga electron, kilo electron volt to this range. The range of the high energy, the energy of the gamma rays will be here. The highly penetrations. Penetrations means inserting powers. The powers penetration means this is the one of the mediums. Then the light will becomes like this directions. Penetrations, the light easily inserted or rays easily inserted. They have which one? They have the more penetration powers. म्हणजे कुठल्याही पद्धतीच्या मीडियम मध्ये घुसण्याची क्षमता. Okay. The next one is high penetration power. High penetration power. They are caused kills to the living germs. Okay. Then small ionizing powers. High penetration powers and small ionizing powers. Then first one is to kill the living cells or germs. To kill living cells. This is the most important properties, mainly 4 properties of the gamma rays, that is high energy, that is kilo electron volt to this range. This is the range of the energy of gamma rays. And high penetration powers, small ionizing powers. Then they will be kill the living cells. Now we are discuss the uses of gamma rays. Uses of gamma rays. The uses of gamma rays. The first uses, disinfections of, they will be used to the disinfections of the food material, that is wheat and flours. Disinfections of wheat and flours. The second uses of the gamma rays will be their food preservation. They are also used for the food preservations. Third one is the mostly uses and mostly affected uses of the gamma rays is physiotherapy or radiotherapy. They also use radiotherapy to treatment of of cancer and tumor. The most uses, that is to treatment of cancer and tumor, that radiotherapy will be used to treatment of cancer and tumor. That is most useful. And they also use to produce the nuclear reactors, produce the nuclear reactions, to produce nuclear reactions. Nuclear reaction, this will be uses of the gamma rays. What is the gamma rays? This is the mainly 4 to 5 marks or 3 marks to explain the gamma rays, or 2 marks explain the gamma rays. The years which can be produced, which was produced the gamma rays, is 1900. The mainly scientist which can be discovered the gamma rays is P Villards in the 1900. The mainly sources, they are produced by the radioactive materials in the nuclei. It emits by the nuclei of the radioactive materials. They emits by the nuclei of the radioactive materials. The radioactive materials are examples, that is uranium and radium are the 2 examples of the radioactive materials. Then property, they are having high energy range, high energy and high penetration power, small ionizing power, and kill to the living cells. These are the properties of gamma rays. And uses of the gamma rays, that is disinfections of the wheat and flours, food preservations, and to treatment. Radiotherapy is used to treatment of the cancer and tumors, and they also use it to produce the nuclear reactions. These are the most useful, and 2 different rays will be discussed here, that is ultraviolet rays and gamma rays. In the next lectures we are discuss X rays.